I made an extra $31,000 in sales this year selling used and pre-owned clothing, and the profit margins on it have been absolutely insane. I'm just going to share you guys my findings and how I'm going to further scale my store. And yeah, let's just get into it. So this year from from January 1st to July 11th, I've done $31,000 in sales. I currently have 2,500 active listings. I've only sold 852 of those, and our net of sales is 17,000, which is a very important number. If you guys want to get to this page, it's in the performance tab once you go into your eBay seller hub. But I just want to be really transparent and show you guys my sales. I really want to explain to you some of the cost in here, and I think this is a super important page that I've seen pretty much zero people make actual videos about, showing you guys, should you run a reselling business on eBay and the profit margins that you could possibly get. So I mainly sell new, used, and pre-owned clothing, mainly pre-owned, pretty much anything pre-owned. And my model is going to vary way different than many other people's model on eBay. So the main model that I'm doing is I'm buying clothes in bulk from garage sales, church rummage sales, and even clearing out people's like basically garage sale at the end of it. And the beautiful part about this is when you're clearing out these sales at the very end, you get massive amounts of inventory for next to nothing. So let's go through the fee breakdown, and I'm going to explain some of the margins that I'm getting on this stuff. So we have the price here. So this in sales includes taxes. That's what it says. And then we have the selling costs. So the selling costs here, it says includes all eBay fees, the amount you paid to buy shipping labels. I bought my shipping labels on eBay. You can buy them off eBay. I just buy them on eBay because it makes my accounting a little bit easier. And then, yeah, you can see taxes and fees. eBay collected $1,900 in taxes and fees. And then we have a net sales, so net of taxes and selling costs. So we get net sales. Net sales is total sales minus taxes and government fees. So this is the number that actually hit my bank account at the end of the day. Obviously, any profit you make, you have to pay taxes on. Obviously, not a tax advisor, but basically the 17 grand hit my bank account. Just like if you worked a job, you have to pay, or similar to how you work. If you work a job, you have to pay tax on that. I'm not going to go. This isn't a tax video. I'm not going to go super deep into that. But I think it's super important to know your numbers. My average sales price was $37. So even though I'm selling a lot of low dollar stuff that people wouldn't pick up, or it's not on their BOLO list or whatever, I'm still slanging just random, just basically crap. Just absolutely just a lot of the times it's the stuff that nobody wants. That's why I have way more active than I have sold, but I'm okay with it because the thing is, of this 17 grand, I'm going to have to look in my sheet, but basically I only have like 3 to 5 grand invested into it. So the margin on that is absolutely insane. And I currently have 2,500 listings, and I also have, I want to say, 7,000 products that I don't have listed yet. So the main bottleneck in that is just having enough time to list the products. But I think one major thing that a lot of these like eBay YouTuber people, like I don't even consider myself like I am a clothing seller that sells on eBay, but like I don't consider myself like one of these people that goes thrift stores and pays $8 a piece of clothes and then tries to flip it for like $40. Like I'm just trying to solve people's problems. Like, okay, this person's moving and they have to sell like literally everything this week. I want to be the guy that shows up, clears out their products, they're happy with the price I give them, and I can make a little bit of money on eBay too, right? That's my mentality about it. I also do sales on Facebook Marketplace and a few other platforms, but I just wanted to show you guys this tab because it was super helpful for me. It was the performance tab, and I think I really just want to explain that like you can have a different business model than other people and do completely fine. I don't really ever see people do this model because you're doing the same thing of just like going to garage sales and kind of picking out what you want, but you're trying to solve like a bigger problem of instead of going to a garage sale, asking somebody if they have a shirt for $5, you're trying to get it for, $1, and you're just trying to lowball them on one item. I'm like, hey, like, what would you do if I took all of the clothes? Like, you don't ever have to see it again. You don't have to ever see it again. You don't have to ever look at it again. Nothing. And usually they're willing to work with you. Sometimes like the person's just not motivated enough, and that's when I just have to like move on. Like I just have to go to the next person. I just have to talk to a different person. But for the most part, I'm able to find these people where they need to move, right? They need to move. Unfortunately, maybe somebody in their family passed and they're selling the house and they have to sell all their stuff. And if it makes sense for me, I will buy pretty much everything they have at that sale. I do try to specialize in certain categories. I specialize in clothing, books, basically anything you wear, and books. Clothing, books, jewelry, pretty much all that I specialize in. And yeah, I would say the only thing that I don't really try to do is furniture just because it's massive. It's just like way too massive. My local market's not insanely great for furniture either. And I think a lot of this is definitely location dependent. Like your market might be fantastic for furniture. My market here, it does okay, but for the amount of space it takes up, it just doesn't make sense. For me right now, like if I had a massive warehouse, I think taking the furniture to would definitely make sense. But I would be able to take pretty much everything except the furniture and like large items like a massive lawnmower, like one of those riding lawnmowers. I wouldn't be able to take that, but I'd be able to take pretty much anything that would fit in like a pickup truck pretty much. So overall that's pretty much my model is I just find these people that need their stuff gone. I take it in bulk, and for that reason, like for instance, I've sold 852 items. I currently have 2,500 active. From these other videos I've watched other people make, they'll have like $5 to $10 invested per item. While for me, for my business model, usually it's $1 an item. So I've sold 852 items, and my average buy cost for those items is usually below $2. Obviously, there's a few outliers where I have to pay more because it's a super expensive item. But for clothing specifically, my average buy cost is way under $2. Some of the higher end items, obviously, I'm going to have to pay more, but I just thought I mentioned that because having your costs low is so important, and being able to acquire the product for the price you need to acquire it to still be able to make money is super important too. I think there's tons of people where they're running a reselling business where not only does it take all their time, but they're also really not making any money off of it either because they're spending so much money to acquire their product. And I think that's one of the big things too. Like I've seen so many videos where they're like, I don't pick up like Chaps is an example. Chaps is like a brand that sells on eBay for like $10. I pick it up all the time for $1. I pick it up all the time. I list it. I've calculated this too. I can do about 15 items an hour. So like let's say I make $10 after fees on a Chap shirt that I pay $1 for. That's still, if I do 15 items an hour, it's still $150 an hour. That's great. But if you're going to, say, a thrift store and you're buying it for $8, and then you're selling it for 10 or $10 after fees, you're only going to make $2 profit. So 10 minus 2, you're only making $2 profit. And let's say you can only do 15 items an hour. 2 times 15, you're making like $30 an hour, which is okay. But at that point, with all the other stuff you have to do, customer service and just it affecting your life, you're probably way better off just getting just a job. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm just letting you know, like if you're going to be doing this, I think it should be worth your time. Everybody's goal is way different, but like who doesn't want to just get paid more for what they do? And I think a lot of these people that make videos where they're just going to thrift stores, there's nothing wrong with that too. I love going to thrift stores. But if you're trying to just build your business off of going to thrift stores, I don't think that's a fantastic idea. Especially like recently, I've been really trying to utilize just doing connections with people. So I'll give people my phone number. I'll ask for other people's phone numbers too if they're like into certain categories, because I'm not a specialist at every category. And if I can connect two people, and who knows, down the line that person might help me out too. So I'm always trying to connect with other people. I always try to tell people what I do. I've watched a video about that online where somebody's like, "Oh, when I go to these sales, I try to not tell people what I do." Some of my best things I've ever bought have been just by telling people, yeah, like if you have a closet, like I'll take everything in the closet and give you one price and you'll never have to see it again. And like something for that's super appealing. Like there was this lady and she saw I was buying books. I had about 200 books and they're massive and it's heavy, and she just sees me like lugging around these books and she's like, "Hi, do you buy books?" I'm like, "Yeah." And she said, "Oh, I have a basement of 2,500 books and I need it gone." And I was like, "Sure." I gave her my phone number and she hasn't contacted me yet, but like, who knows? Like, one of these days she might contact me and then I'm going to buy all her books. Or, unfortunately, you know, she might pass away and then her family members call me and then I take all the books. So, it's just providing a service, and I'm able to give that person way more money because I don't have massive overhead. If you took those same books to like one of these stores that buys back your books, they have way more overhead, while I don't really have much overhead at all. So I can pay her way more than a lot of these other businesses could pay her. So it's really just providing a service to people, and that's it. Like that's that's the service. It's kind of like a in between. I was talking to ChatGPT about it. It's an in between like a junk removal company and like a consignment company for somebody. It's kind of in between those two, where you're not trying to just like, I'm not interested in junk that's not worth anything to sell online, but the items have to be somewhat valuable for me to sell online. And some of the times to buy the buys that I want to do, I have to take some junk. Like I have to take some tables. I have to take like just different items that I usually do not want to take, just because the person wants a certain section of their garage gone. So I tell them, "Hey, I will take this table or I'll take this other thing." The one thing I really try to not do is like, I don't, if it's moldy or cat smell or anything like that, I just completely pass. There's so many other people to buy from. It just doesn't make sense. My ideal client that I'm trying to go after is pretty much somebody that has a somewhat clean household where their stuff doesn't smell of like cigarettes. And then because it just becomes way more difficult to sell the stuff online if it smells terrible. There's ways to get the odor out, but it's just not worth it for me. And yeah, basically I'll find them at the end of a garage sale, let them know, hey, I can, clear out the rest of their clothes, and then we figure out what price to do. I buy a lot from church sales too, and I've learned every sale, I don't just try to take everything if it doesn't make sense. Certain sales, if they have a good enough just quality of products, then I'll offer to clear out the sale, but I found that a lot of the times it is not worth to try to clear out and help at the very end of many of these garage sales or church sales. But some of them absolutely do make sense for me and them. So that's just my business model. I haven't really heard of anybody talk about that specific business model online, but for me, it's working. It's not doing insanely crazy. Let's say over the past 6 months, let's say the net of this was 12K. 12, let's say that was 12, hypothetically, let's say that was 12K profit. And then it's been 6 months. So that's going to be about $2,000 profit a month. And I thought I'd make this video too, because I know a lot of people, that's all they're looking for. Like, they're literally just looking for $2,000 a month. And this is one of the just many things that I do. I like it because it's still flipping and it's still reselling related, but the capital investment's like pretty much nothing. It's like next to nothing. And it's still a super easy $2,000 a month that pays for pretty much all of my living expenses. I get to work on it whenever I want to. And yeah, it did take a few systems to do it too, but it's been great. The thing is too, with this, I'm just really starting with it too. I pretty much started listing on eBay, close. I want to say I'm like 8 months in. And you can see year to date, like we're chugging along consistent 2K profit months on it with pretty much zero costs other than the cost of goods. And the cost of goods are insanely low. So I really see this as like I never would have thought about it that I'm going to sell used products on eBay and it's going to like pay for everything I need. But this has been a pretty insanely easy $2,000 a month to make. Yes, it is hard work. Yes, you do need some space to store the items. You do have to deal with some customers sometimes, but all in all, like the margins are crazy. It feels super satisfying being able to like actually help these people with their problems. That's one thing I've been kind of surprised about. And the amount of like, because I'm not trying to cherry pick and like constantly go all over the place to like hunt one item. I'm buying in bulk. So like theoretically, I could not source for the next probably 2 years, and I'm still going to make $2,000 a month from the business off of sourcing just basically just for a few weekends because I'm buying so much in bulk. So it's pretty crazy that just with the right mentality, right mindset, right vehicle, pretty much, you can work from home. You could do this from a storage unit. You could, and there's many different ways to do it, but you could literally do bulk buys, put it all in a storage unit, take pictures of all the items, and like never have to clock into like an actual job ever. If you're okay with living on like 30 grand a year, and like you could make way more than that if you're not trying to do it on like a part-time basis. Like I said, this is just one of the things that I do. So if you just did this and nothing else, you could probably make way more at it, depending on who you are and how dedicated you are. But hopefully this video is motivating. If you guys have any questions or want me to make a video about this, definitely let me know. But I've enjoyed it. I think I'm gonna probably do this for like forever because it's such a great source of cash flow that literally requires like no cash, and it also takes like the risk is like I guess my eBay account getting banned. Like I don't know, there's really no risk because if I got banned, I still have all the items that I paid for, so I could just sell them on like a different platform like Whatnot or something. So it's really crazy to think about that I was basically able to build a 2K profit per month business in less than a year. And like with that money, you can live on it, you can invest with it. It's pretty insane to think about. And this is like the worst time going to be. I would assume it's only going to get better. Because when I'm at doing these bulk buys, I'm at these sales. Mind you, I knew nothing about clothing like 9 months ago. I had no idea. And then now it's just chugging along. I know certain brands that are good. Like I don't know anything about women's clothing for the most part. Like I know a few brands, but I mainly know men's clothing. And then like shoes, I've sold shoes for years. Like I know shoes pretty well, but just some food for thought to think about. If you guys have any questions, definitely let me know. If you're trying to do this reselling business and you want to, ask me any questions, let me know about that. Or want me to make a video about something, let me know. But yeah, it honestly just shocks me the amount of money there is out in the world. If you're willing to just look different, like just be different, and just go out there and collect these different items that are used that nobody wants to deal with, that you might have to put like just a slight bit of sweat equity in. And it's going to be boring. Like taking the pictures is boring. Listing it on eBay is boring. But the beautiful part is like literally anybody can do it and make an addition. And the thing is too, I'm not even a multi-platform seller. I see all these people online. They're like paying $80 a month for a cross lister. I don't do any of that. I'm literally just like, yep, we're just going to put it up on eBay and we're going to hope it sells. And some of the items I listed over 6 months ago, they're selling now. So my mentality with it too is like, it should all eventually sell. It's just a matter of when. So hopefully that helps. See you guys later.